Hey everyone, I'm Rain, and this is Tarot for the Skeptical Mystic. And today we're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about money. We're going to do a reading into sort of what maybe your financial situation is looking like, how we got there, and how we can hopefully improve it. Last time I did a reading about relationships that was all about money. So let's do a reading about money that turns out to be about relationships. Who knows? But let's get started with our very first card, which is a steampunk tarot. It's been a minute since steampunk showed up, graced us with its presence. So always very exciting. My favorite deck by far. I really like the new decks that I introduced, but this one was kind of like my first one because my wife kind of got it for me. She got like a pack that was like, buy two and get this one thrown in or something like that. I don't know how it worked out. Or maybe she just saw it and was like, yeah, I like that. I'm dropping cards everywhere. Holy shit. Just dropped like half the fucking deck. Just dropped like half the fucking deck. But yeah, she got a bunch of decks for her and kind of threw this one in there for me, thinking I would like it. She was correct. And yeah, so it'll have the Rainbow Braid Skull is the first one I bought. I bought it maybe 2 years ago. But this is the first one that was like gifted to me. So it's kind of special because it's from my wife. So usually very sort of like forthcoming, but my hands are just too dexterous right now. So we're going to start off with the Six of Wands. Actually, a card that has come up more than once in readings around these parts, interestingly enough. All hail the conquering hero. She felt so proud to be part of the event, standing tall and holding one of the victory wands high as he rode past. He looked so noble in his dress uniform, carrying the laurels with such dignity. How can he look so humble after all he has achieved, she wondered. Does he not know that he has not merely achieved this for himself? Does he not realize what he has done on behalf of us all? His glory is our glory. He rode through the crowd, reflective and subdued, fully aware of the responsibility he bore. He did not do this for himself. The fire, the courage, the determination came from them. This is your victory, not mine, he wanted to shout. I did not do this alone. 2 points of view. 2 truths that weave together to create one experience. There has been a victory, a great deed, a wondrous accomplishment. The doer of the deed, the hero of the hour, is publicly recognized as such. Heroes hardly ever exist in a vacuum, and consequently, everyone who has touched his life is part of the victory. In any society, heroes play a role. We see them, we see the hero within, and all that we could accomplish. They inspire us to be more than we are. When the public honors a hero, they also honor the potential within themselves. If this victorious hero parades into your reading, prepare to be publicly recognized for an achievement, or perhaps you'll be part of the crowd. If so, acknowledge the accomplishment and realize that this strength, will, and determination is available to you as well. Tap into it and use it, and soon you'll be riding in the place of honor. So, pretty straightforward, right? It's talking about accomplishment. It's talking about achievement. What this tells me is that in the past, right, you maybe have had laurels to rest upon, right? We all sort of have our ebbs and flows, and certainly this is, an example of one of our greater flows. So in the past, maybe your financial sort of situation was predicated on a great victory, a big success, something that happened where you were able to get a really big promotion, get a really big raise or something like that. Or you were able to like kind of maybe save the company money, but it didn't necessarily translate into rewards for you, right? That happens so often, right? You're the hero of the hour, but it's also like for the good of the company, the good of the organization. And sometimes that's good for the people within it, but usually it's just kind of good for the organization, right? Like, oh, cool, I saved, $100,000 a year. They're not going to pay me any of that, right? That's just profit going back into their pockets. So this heroic deed, when we're talking about finances, can come in a lot of different flavors, right? But it feels like you're building on a success in the past. And maybe that's what has led us into a situation where we're stressed about finances. Maybe it did come with a promotion, it did come with a raise, and that also came with extra responsibility, extra pressure, or as often happens, we live outside of our means without realizing we're doing it, right? The last few years have been tumultuous financially for a lot of people, to say the very least. And so previous success doesn't guarantee future success, right? And a situation that was really good 5 years ago might be terrible now because nothing has changed. But in the past, we're building on an accomplishment, an achievement, and that should give us confidence moving forward, right? We know what we are capable of, and we see it in ourselves, we see it in others and their accomplishments. Part of sort of the heroic journey, right, is inspiring those around the hero. And maybe that, as it said, is you, right? Maybe you're looking at someone else's accomplishment and recognizing the potential within you and started to pursue that same sort of success. And maybe that's what led you into the situation that you're at now. Either way, it sort of revolves around this heroic figure and a great accomplishment, a great deed that's been accomplished. And that takes us into our present, which is going to be another steampunk tarot. Hello, kitty cat. Hello. Yes, I see you. Are you doing okay? Hi, kitty boy. Hi, sweetie pie. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? He was like, oh, what's that? There's a card, buddy. There's 2 cards. There's 2 cards. So our present is going to be a double, and that is the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. Interestingly enough, the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. So let's give a read here about our Pentacles and Swords. Wars and lives are won and lost because of resources. The Knight of Pentacles is generally considered the least romantic of the knights. Being quite practical, he is also accused of lacking in idealism and tends more towards prudence than gallantry. Because he carefully weighs the pros and cons of any action, he appears slow and boring. Plodding dullness is certainly not an attractive quality in a knight. Well, that depends on what you're looking for. While his ways may not win the heart of every lady at the ball, he is likely to be the one who survives the war and can go to the ball. He is also the one who will survive economic shifts and social changes. He may not shine the brightest, but he will shine the longest. In some ways, he understands how the world works better than most people, even those with more experience. This understanding is his strength, making things work smoothly. Effectiveness and efficiency are his guiding stars, pleases him more than public accolades or formal recognition. He is more often than not off in his own world and staring off into space. But he isn't just staring, he is waiting for the right time to act. His motto may well be Cunctando regitur mundus, waiting one conquers all. He is not moved by emotion, hurry, or doubt. Every action he makes will yield maximum results. He understands that reality, not abstract ideals, dictates value. For example, that canteen may not be worth much on the streets of London. In the trenches, after days being separated from his unit, that canteen suddenly has much more value. When the Knight of Pentacles is involved in your situation, emotional appeals or idealistic speeches won't move him. Instead, focus on practical applications and implications. He'll be more than happy to help out. Although he doesn't overly crave recognition, providing a little will go a long way to win his devoted loyalty. And that takes us to the Queen of Swords, who is a force to be reckoned with for sure. Of course, I will accompany you to the private garden. Don't mind the sword. It is just part of the outfit. Smart, experienced, and quick, very quick, the Queen of Swords is a faithful friend. Just ask her how she feels about betrayal. You see, she's had experiences, and not all of them were particularly good. If you notice a little coldness about her, some aloofness in her manner, don't judge her as heartless. She has merely found it expedient to protect herself. The lessons she has learned have not only made her stronger, but also made her wary of wasting time. She does not care to dance around the truth and will always be direct with you. If you do not want to know her honest opinion, do not ask for it. She may try to deliver the words with care and delicacy, but they may still sting. If she does bring you the truth and you don't care for it, do not, as so many have done before you, take it out on her. She's not responsible for creating the truth. More than likely, you did it yourself, only for telling it. Truth is not always painful, though. If your idea or plan is a good one, she'll give you more encouragement, along with excellent suggestions for improving it than you could hope for. And yet, for all the hurts she has suffered, she still cares for people and be quite the lioness protecting those she loves. Don't give her a reason to turn on you. That sword she carries around is dead useful. With it, she cuts the false from the true, communicates effectively, and slays anyone she wishes to, all with impeccable style and grace. So a pretty sterling endorsement, right? If this is you in the present, you are someone who is capable, who's patient, who's thoughtful, who's methodical, right? You are somebody who approaches problems with great care and a directness, a bluntness that can be really, really valuable, right? These are probably the qualities that earned you the accomplishment in the first place. Alternatively, if you were sort of like in the crowd being inspired, these might be qualities that you're aspiring to, right? These are the skills that you are developing. But them being, the knight and the queen tells me like, no, that's where you already are. And maybe in the present, that's something that you've forgotten and need to be reminded of. You are capable. You are knowledgeable. If you are dealing with your money, you're dealing with your lifestyle, you're dealing with something at work, this is saying, this is you, right? You're on your shit. You know what you're doing. You are capable. You're cautious. You're smart about the decisions that you make. You follow through, and you follow through with, no regard for fluff and pageantry and all the sort of politicking of the office or whatever it is, right? You get to business and you get business done. And, if you're in a situation where you're like, oh, what am I going to do about my finances? This feels like, to me, a reminder not just of your past accomplishments and how far you've come, but who you are now, right? There are things in life that are going to throw you for a loop, right? But if you've gone through the loop before, if you've gone through many different kinds of loops before, then maybe you're prepared for it and you're less likely to get dizzy. Maybe you've kind of forgotten the power and strength within you to tackle your challenges, to handle your hardships. But these cards are saying, no, you are resolute, you are clear-minded, you are direct, you are to the point, and you get shit done. And so if you're struggling with your finances, this I feel like is a wake-up call to say, okay, like you can do this. You can, you have that sword there to cut if you need it. And you have the patience and the understanding to know what needs to be cut and what doesn't. And that might be very literally, right? What do you need to cut out of your budget? What do you need to cut out of your lifestyle that is not beneficial to you, that's not efficient, that's making things challenging? Now, I know in the current sort of like state of the world, saying like, well, what can you do? Kind of feels a little bit like the avocado toast, and $8 Starbucks things that boomers used to say about my generation, about the excesses of, the 20 and 30 somethings out there who just don't know how to value their time, value their money, spend money on the right things. And that's not what I'm trying to say. What I am trying to say is you can look honestly at your situation and give an objective appraisal of what's working and what isn't. You have that capability. You have the ability to look that truth in the face and see it, even if it kind of stings. Maybe there are decisions that you're making or have made that are not ideal, that are not, as the knight would say, efficient, optimized. And what this is saying is maybe it's time to reflect on that. Maybe it's time to move away from the things that you want and focus on the things that you need, because that power is within you. We all have the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords inside of us somewhere. For some people, the strength is developing, right? You're young, you're inexperienced, but you're learning, right? And maybe you're in a situation where this is going to be transformative, right? This is going to hone and sharpen that sword that you carry around with you and teach you when it's time to cut and when it's time to kind of keep it in its scabbard. So This to me is just a reminder in the present. Here you are strong, you are capable. The things that are coming your way are challenges that you can overcome if you're patient, if you're careful, if you're thoughtful, and if you're rational and objective. So let's take a look at our future. That's going to be a number 3. That's Empyrean. So this is going to be sort of like moving into the future. If we are able to approach our financial problem, right? You've got bills that are piling up, or you lost your job or whatever. If you're embracing, right? You're embracing those spirits within you. If you're embracing that Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Swords energy, what kind of future, are you moving towards? And potentially, like, what might the outcome of that be? What might that look like if you remember that strength? And so sometimes this can be like moving in a new direction, or sometimes it can be sort of like reaffirming what you already know. It really just kind of depends. Okay, so we have define and cloak. That's really interesting. These are so like, in a lot of ways, like counter to one another, right? Define and cloak. So let's read what the Empyrean has to say about these two cards. Define. To define is to reach the space where you no longer have to weigh your truths, trying to find some form of balance. To know yes from no. To be okay with all that you are and all that you are not. To stop collecting what you love in others and trying it on like an oversized coat, hoping that it will be enough. Enough for what? To be as unsure as everyone else? We are all moving through this life trying to make friends with the demons at our back. What if you knew your truth the way the ocean knows its tides? To let it settle into every cell of your body. To live so completely that a stranger can feel it on the street. To covet another's power is an insult to our own. To always seek its shielding is shielding our gifts from the sun. To define is to let yourself be planted. It is knowing what it is for you and what it isn't, and being okay with it. No longer trying to be acceptable or what another needs. It is knowing that your power could split the sky if you let it breathe. Shed everyone else's skin, drop all distractions, close the casket of uncertainty, run toward yourself, let knowing crash into you. Set all that burns inside you free. So that was define. Here comes cloak. There are times for being transparent, forthcoming, and open. This is not one of them. Whatever you're working on, processing, or exploring, it's best to do it under wraps for now. This is not to encourage paranoia or fear, but simply to protect yourself. Some roads are best traveled at night. Some flames are best lit inside. Some ideas are best not shared. Some projects are best kept secret, at least for the time being. Respect this moment enough, whatever it is for you, to give it its best chance by keeping it within. Let it take root inside you. Protect your time and space from any external forces that attempt to interrupt, and let it grow. You will know when it's time to step outside and let it be seen. So very interesting. Very sort of contradictory futures, right? And I'm not going to play this like, well, it could go this way, it could go the other way, right? Like these cards came out together. So define is really about defining ourselves, right? And embracing fully the fullness of who and what we are, the good and the bad, warts and all, right? And cloak, I think, has this sort of layer of, never let them see you sweat. Right? Like when you're channeling this Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Swords energy, right? When you step fully into and embrace, you have this reminder and you step fully into it and embrace it and define all of the things that you are, all of the things that you aren't, then it's going to lead you in the direction of something really spectacular, right? We have had an accomplishment in the past, or we've been inspired by, right? An accomplishment in the past. And now we're striving towards that accomplishment. Now we're building towards something that is going to be stable and secure, and or maybe even more, right? Maybe something truly spectacular. And in some ways, right, in our future, when we're moving towards that success, when we're moving towards that great accomplishment, it's going to be driven and it's going to be motivated by our sense of self. our vision of ourselves, our understanding fully of ourselves and our accomplishments. And it harkens, I think, back to the Six of Wands, right? The Six of Wands, this guy understands that he is part of a system, right? He is interconnected, and he plays the role of the hero. Maybe he does not want to. Maybe he doesn't think that anything he has done compared to someone else is altogether heroic, right? But he understands that that's the role that he has to play. And here, this is about understanding your role, your part in your accomplishment moving forward. Maybe it's about knowing that you've been the hero and it's time to step aside. Maybe it's about seeing that hero and stepping truly into your role. Maybe it's about being motivated by that heroic sort of, act and realizing that that's not you, that you're always going to be in the crowd. You're going to be supporting that hero because that's the thing that's going to get the job done. And all of those are important roles, right? I think back to, my two best friends and I. We always talked a lot of politics. We had very different politics, and we were very interested in political processes. And we always sort of imagined, when we were to run for president, who would actually be the presidential candidate, right? Who we would put forth in front of the American people, and what roles the other two would play. And it was always so interesting because not everybody wanted to be the president, right? We're playing make-believe as grown adults, but one of my friends knew in all scenarios that he was not the guy, right? Like that was not his role. That's not even what he wanted for himself. And I, in various different iterations of this over the years, was and was not, right? Sometimes it was like, oh yeah, no, we got to put this guy in front of a crowd. He's young, he's handsome, he's this, that, and the next thing. And sometimes it was like, no, he's got too many issues. He's got too many skeletons in his closet. Maybe that's not the right fit, right? As the political climate around us changed, so did our attitudes towards who was the best to have that mantelpiece, to have that mantle placed on them. And this is about that, right? It's about understanding yourself and your role and where you fit and how that's going to help you accomplish the things you want to accomplish. The cloak piece of it, I think, is keeping that close to the chest, keeping your, what you're working on, what you're trying to accomplish close to the chest. And, owning it, right? Owning yourself, owning the truth of yourself, owning your power, but also recognizing, this gets back to the Queen of Swords, the potential for betrayal, right? For theft, for somebody to come along and steal what is yours, to take something from you. You're working towards financial stability, financial success, something that is going to be life-changing for you potentially, right? This is the path that I see is you're building on successes and you're going to continue. And maybe you've got an idea, a project, or your own business, right? You've worked in construction for 15 years and now you're thinking about maybe starting your own, right? Your own company, or whatever. Play your cards pretty close to your chest, right? Don't pop the champagne until it's really time, until, the ink is dry, all that sort of stuff. Because the Queen of Swords knows betrayal. She's seen it. She's had those experiences. And that tells us to protect ourselves, to protect our investments, to protect our secrets, right? To protect the things that are essential for our success. In the military, I was a military brat. In the military, they call it OPSEC, right? Operation Security. And it's the idea of like loose lips sink ships, where, when you talk too much about something, when you give too much away, people can connect dots and glean information that maybe you didn't want them to know. So the cloak is not cloaking yourself, right? That's pretty clear, right? We're defining ourselves, we're owning ourselves, we're seeing clearly our place in this sort of like grand design, and we're protecting that grand design until it's really ready to spring, until it's really ready to come out there and burst forth. This is saying, let it out into the light. The you, right? And this is saying, but the thing you're doing, the thing you're pursuing, the future you're looking for, maybe should not be, known by every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the block, right? Especially if it's a business idea, a product idea, something like that. If you can patent it, don't tell anyone about it, right? Until you filed the patent, then you're all, off to the races. So that's going to take us to our crux card. That's going to tie all of this together and maybe give us a little more context into what kind of future we're looking at, or warn us of some sort of peril. Like if you go down this way, or if you're not aware of this, it could jeopardize things. So that's going to be a 6. That is going to be our cat tarot. Love this. Really interesting so far. Oftentimes I sit down and I think of these readings as like solving a problem, right? Approaches to solving a problem. And usually those problems are kind of depressing, right? They're kind of bleak. And this is a really powerful, optimistic reading, right? You're kicking ass, taking names, and you got to keep on doing it. But at a certain point, right, in your future, because of that, eyes are going to be on you. And you've got to protect yourself. And this is the Magician. The crux card is the Magician. Fantastic, fantastic. The Magician is new beginnings. It is alchemy. It is synthesis. It is confidence. It is power, right? The Magician here is saying, now is the time. Do it. The thing that you're thinking about doing, the thing that's going to move you into this future, right? The thing that you're pursuing that you need to cloak, do it. Don't fuck around. If you came here searching for should I, there's your answer. Yes. New beginnings, new sort of magic to be woven, right? You have the bona fides, you have the personal power, strength, and capability to accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish. You can step truly into yourself, own yourself, and you have the power to do all of that and to make your dreams manifest. This reading, if you're seeing this, is saying, just fucking do it, man. ShiaLaBeouf.gif, like just get it started. Follow through. You can do it. You have the power. Put your mind to it, put your energy into it, put your intellect into it, put all of these skills, call in all the favors you need to call in, bring your community together in the pursuit of this goal. It's worth it. It's a new beginning, a powerful new beginning, a powerful new step into truly understanding yourself, into truly moving into a future that is strong and stable, that is going to give you the things that you're hoping for, that is going to give you what you're looking for in life. That's not to say it won't have complications. That's not to say it'll be easy every single step of the way, but you can do it. Here's you right now. These two powerful fucking cards. That's you in the present. And the Magician is saying, what are you waiting for? Now is the time. Spring into action. The Magician is a card of action, of doing, of beginning, of starting. So do, begin, start. This is your wake-up call. This is your clarion call. This is you sitting there at your computer or on your phone wondering, is it a good idea? Should I? Yes, it is. Yes, you should. Be smart about it. Be careful about it. Be intentional about when and where and how you do the things you do, but fucking do them. Because that's what's going to bring you into this self-assured, self-actualized future, right? This card is the manifester. All of the things on your vision board that you've been manifesting, I'm manifesting. Now is the time to step in and actually turn the imagining, the manifesting of your mind into the manifesting of your body, right? In the doing of the thing. So go forth and conquer. You've done it before and you can do it again. You're even stronger now than you were before. The last time you succeeded big, you've grown so much since then. You're going to continue growing. So get to it. That's my reading. If you have a different interpretation of these cards, I would love to hear it. Everybody, anytime somebody gives me a different reading of the cards that I pull, it helps me understand the cards better and look at things from a different point of view. And that's the whole point of this channel, right? Is to look at things from a different point of view. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and I will see you the next time I see you. Bye.